Maya Turner pushed her glasses up her nose and stared at the numbers on her computer screen. The clock on the wall showed 11:47 p.m., but she didn't care. She had been working in her lab for 14 hours straight, and the coffee pot was empty, again. Her lab at the Nevada Research Institute was small and cluttered. Books about quantum physics covered every surface. Old coffee cups sat next to expensive computers. Maya liked it this way. The mess made sense to her, even if nobody else understood it. Maya was 34 years old and had spent the last 5 years working on something she called quantum cascade theory. It was a fancy name for a simple idea. Human thoughts could change reality at the smallest level. Not in a magical way, but through real science that most people thought was impossible. Her friend Ben Carter often visited the lab. He was a good scientist, but he thought Maya's work was crazy. "You're trying to prove that thinking really hard can move mountains," he would say with a laugh. "That sounds like something from a movie, not real science." Maya didn't get angry when people said things like that. She had heard it all before. The other scientists at the institute whispered about her behind her back. They called her brilliant but said she wasted her talent on impossible dreams. Some of them thought she had lost her mind. But Maya knew she was right. The math worked. The experiments showed small changes when she focused her mind in certain ways. The problem was that the changes were so tiny that most people couldn't see them. Maya needed bigger equipment and more time to prove that consciousness could affect the physical world. She lived alone in a small apartment 20 minutes from the lab. Maya had no pets, no boyfriend, and very few friends. Her work was her life. Every morning she woke up thinking about quantum fields. Every night she fell asleep reading research papers. Maya's parents had died in a car accident when she was in college. She had no brothers or sisters. Sometimes she felt lonely, but her research filled that empty space. She believed that if she could prove her theory, it would change everything people knew about human potential. The lab was quiet except for the humming of computers. Maya liked working at night because nobody bothered her. During the day, other scientists would walk by her door and shake their heads. At night, she could think clearly and focus on her equations. Maya was looking at data from her latest experiment when the building's emergency lights started flashing. A loud alarm filled the hallway outside her lab. She had never heard this alarm before. It wasn't the fire alarm or the security alarm. This was something new and urgent. She opened her lab door and saw people running down the hallway. Dr. Peterson from the biology department grabbed her arm as he ran past. "Maya, you need to get to the main conference room right now. They're calling everyone." Maya followed the crowd to the conference room. The large TV screen on the wall showed a news reporter who looked scared. Behind the reporter, Maya could see something that made her heart stop. Huge dark shapes filled the sky above New York City. They were ships, but not like any ships Maya had ever seen. The reporter was talking fast. The objects appeared suddenly over major cities around the world. Military officials say they are not from Earth. I repeat, these appear to be alien spacecraft. Maya sat down hard in the nearest chair. Alien ships. Real alien ships hovering over Earth's cities. She had always wondered if life existed on other planets, but she never expected to see proof of it in her lifetime. The director of the institute, Dr. Williams, stood at the front of the room. He looked older than usual. "Everyone needs to stay calm," he said. "We don't know what these visitors want, but the government is handling the situation." On the TV screen, the view changed to show more ships. They were massive, easily the size of city blocks. Maya counted at least 20 ships over New York alone. The reporter said similar fleets had appeared over London, Tokyo, Moscow, and dozens of other major cities. Then the screen showed something that made Maya's blood run cold. A bright beam of light shot down from one of the ships and hit a military base. When the light faded, the base was gone. Just gone. Where thousands of soldiers and millions of dollars of equipment had been, there was now only empty ground. The room erupted in panicked voices. Some people started crying. Others pulled out their phones to call family members. Maya just stared at the screen, her mind racing. The news reporter was struggling to maintain his composure. "Ladies and gentlemen, We have just witnessed what appears to be an attack on Fort Hamilton. The entire military installation has been destroyed. We're receiving reports of similar attacks on military bases worldwide. Dr. Williams tried to keep everyone calm, but his voice was shaking. The government has activated all emergency protocols. We're to remain in the building until further notice. Maya watched as more attacks happened on the TV. Every time human military forces tried to approach the alien ships, they were destroyed instantly. Jet fighters simply vanished when they got too close. Navy ships trying to defend coastal cities were reduced to nothing by those terrible beams of light. The aliens weren't just visiting, they were attacking. And from what Maya could see, human weapons couldn't even scratch their ships. A new voice came on the TV. It was President Martinez speaking from an underground bunker. Her face was grim. My fellow Americans and citizens of the world, we are facing an unprecedented threat. These alien forces have attacked our military installations without warning or provocation. We are prepared to defend our planet with everything we have. Maya knew that everything they had wasn't going to be enough. She had seen how easily the aliens destroyed human technology. Their ships seemed to ignore the laws of physics that humans understood. They moved without visible engines. Their weapons worked in ways that made no sense. As she sat in that conference room watching the world change forever, Maya felt something stirring in her mind. Her quantum cascade theory had always suggested that consciousness could affect reality. She had spent years proving that human thoughts could create tiny changes in quantum fields. But what if the changes didn't have to be tiny? What if, under the right conditions, human consciousness could do much more than she had ever imagined? Maya looked around the room at her frightened colleagues. None of them believed in her work. But maybe, just maybe, her crazy theories were about to become humanity's only hope for survival. Maya stayed in the conference room all night, watching the horror unfold on every news channel. The alien attacks had stopped after they destroyed the major military bases, but their ships still hung in the sky like dark clouds of death. By morning, a pattern had become clear. The aliens had attacked military targets first, but now they were doing something worse. They were landing huge ships, smaller than the ones floating over the cities but still enormous, were touching down in populated areas. Soldiers in strange armor were coming out of these ships. The news cameras showed them marching through streets, and Maya felt sick watching what happened next. The alien soldiers weren't taking prisoners, they were killing everyone they found. Men, women, children. It didn't matter. The aliens moved through neighborhoods like they were cleaning house, removing unwanted pests. Dr. Williams had set up a communication center in the conference room. Phone calls came in from government officials, other research centers, and frightened families of the staff. Maya listened to the reports with growing dread. The aliens called themselves the Hegemony. They had sent a message to every government on Earth, delivered in perfect English and dozens of other languages. The message was simple. Humanity had been judged dangerous and would be eliminated. There would be no negotiation, no surrender, no mercy. Maya learned that the Hegemony was made up of 12 different alien races. They had been watching Earth for centuries, studying human behavior. According to their message, humans were different from other intelligent species they had encountered. Humans were too unpredictable, too quick to adapt, too willing to fight against impossible odds. The alien leader was someone called Commander Zethkar. He came from a race called the Vorthok, and he had personally overseen the destruction of 17 other species that the Hegemony considered dangerous. Earth was just his latest assignment. Maya's phone rang around noon. The caller ID showed a number she recognized but hadn't seen in 2 years. It was Alex Murphy, her former research partner who now worked for the government. "Maya, thank God you answered," Alex said. His voice sounded strained and tired. "I'm calling from the Pentagon. Well, what's left of it after this morning's attack?" "Alex, are you okay?" Maya asked. She remembered Alex as a practical man who never believed in her consciousness research. He had left her lab to work on more conventional projects. "I'm alive, if that's what you mean," Alex replied. "But Maya, I need to ask you something, and I need you to listen carefully. Do you still believe that human consciousness can affect quantum fields?" Maya was surprised by the question. Of course I do. My research proves it. Why are you asking? Because every conventional weapon we've tried has failed completely, Alex said. The aliens have technology that makes our best equipment look like stone tools. Their ships have shields that absorb nuclear explosions. Their weapons can destroy entire city blocks with a single shot. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. What are you saying, Alex? I'm saying that the military is desperate enough to consider anything, even your theoretical research. If there's any chance that human consciousness could be used as a weapon against these aliens, we need to know. Maya stood up and walked to the window. She could see one of the alien ships in the distance, a dark speck against the blue sky. Alex, my research has never been about weapons. I study the connection between consciousness and reality because I want to understand human potential. Maya, there might not be any humans left to reach their potential if we don't stop these aliens, Alex said. Please, just think about it. Is there any way your consciousness field theory could be applied on a larger scale? Maya closed her eyes and considered the question. Her experiments had shown that focused human thought could create small changes in quantum fields. These changes were tiny, barely measurable even with her most sensitive equipment. But the mathematics of her theory suggested that under the right conditions, the effects could be much larger. I would need to study their technology first, Maya said slowly. If the alien ships operate using quantum principles, then theoretically, consciousness could disrupt their systems. But Alex, the mental effort required would be enormous. I'm not even sure a human mind could survive the attempt. Right now, the alternative is the extinction of our entire species, Alex replied. Maya, I'm sending a military transport to pick you up. We're evacuating all essential personnel to a secure facility. Your research might be our only hope. After Maya hung up, she sat in silence for a long time. The other scientists in the conference room were still watching the news, but Maya wasn't paying attention to the TV anymore. She was thinking about quantum fields and consciousness and the impossible task that Alex had just presented to her. Ben Carter sat down next to her. Maya, I heard part of your phone conversation. Are they really asking you to turn your consciousness research into a weapon? Maya nodded. They are. And Ben, I'm starting to think it might be possible. Ben looked skeptical. Maya, your experiments move particles by microscopic distances. These alien ships are the size of buildings. The scale is different, but the principle is the same, Maya said. Human consciousness can interact with quantum fields. If the alien technology depends on maintaining specific quantum states, then disrupting those states could shut down their systems. That's a huge if, Ben said. Maya stood up and looked out the window again. More alien ships were landing in the distance. She could see smoke rising from several parts of the city. Ben, how many people do you think died today? Ben was quiet for a moment. The news said at least 50 million worldwide, and the killing hasn't stopped. Maya made her decision. Then I have to try. Even if there's only a small chance of success, I have to try. 2 hours later, a military helicopter landed on the roof of the institute. Maya packed her most important research files and equipment. As she prepared to leave, she thought about her parents and how they had always encouraged her to follow her dreams, even when those dreams seemed impossible. Maya had spent her entire adult life trying to prove that human consciousness was more powerful than most people believed. Now she might have to bet the survival of the human race on that belief. As the helicopter lifted off, Maya looked down at the burning city below. Somewhere in the distance, alien soldiers were continuing their methodical extermination of everyone they found. Maya closed her eyes and began to prepare her mind for what might be the most important experiment in human history. She just hoped that 5 years of studying consciousness would be enough to save the world. The military helicopter flew Maya to a secret underground facility in the mountains of Colorado. The base was hidden so deep in the rock that Maya felt like she was descending into the center of the earth. Emergency lights lined the tunnels, and soldiers with grim faces hurried past carrying equipment and supplies. Alex Murphy met Maya at the entrance to the research section. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles surrounded his eyes, and his usually neat hair was messy and unwashed. Maya, I'm so glad you're here, Alex said, leading her through a maze of corridors. The situation has gotten much worse since we talked. The aliens have landed ground forces in over 200 cities. The death toll is now estimated at over 300 million people. Maya felt sick hearing the numbers. 300 million people dead in less than 2 days. The aliens were killing humans faster than any war or plague in history. Alex showed Maya to a large laboratory that had been hastily set up with equipment from various research centers. We've gathered everything we could find related to quantum physics and consciousness research. Most of the other scientists think we're wasting time, but the president has authorized unlimited resources for your project. Maya looked around the lab. Most of the equipment was familiar to her, but some machines were more advanced than anything she had ever worked with. Where did you get all this? From every major university and research center we could reach before the aliens destroyed them, Alex replied. Maya, I need you to know something. This facility is one of the last secure locations on Earth. If your consciousness theory doesn't work, there might not be anywhere left to run. Maya sat down at a computer terminal and began reviewing the FAU data that had been collected about the alien technology. Military satellites had captured detailed images of the alien ships before being destroyed. The images showed sleek vessels that seemed to bend light around them. Their weapons produced energy signatures unlike anything in human science. But as Maya studied the data, she began to see patterns. The alien ships created specific electromagnetic fields around themselves. Their weapons operated by manipulating gravitational forces at a quantum level. Most importantly, their defensive shields seemed to maintain quantum coherence across enormous distances. Alex, look at this, Maya said, pointing to her computer screen. The alien technology is based entirely on quantum field manipulation. Their ships, their weapons, their shields, everything depends on maintaining specific quantum states. Alex leaned over her shoulder to look at the data. What does that mean for your consciousness theory? Maya felt excitement building in her chest despite the terrible circumstances. It means that if I can expand my consciousness to interact with quantum fields on a massive scale, I might be able to disrupt their entire fleet simultaneously. That's a big if, Alex said. Your experiments have never affected anything larger than microscopic particles. Maya stood up and began pacing around the lab. That's because I was working alone and without proper amplification. But Alex, I've been preparing for this my whole life without knowing it. She told Alex about her meditation practices, which she had developed to focus her mind for her consciousness experiments. For 5 years, Maya had spent hours every day training her mind to maintain laser-like concentration. She had learned to enter altered states of consciousness that allowed her to perceive quantum fluctuations directly. I can feel quantum fields, Alex, Maya said. When I meditate deeply enough, I can sense the fundamental forces that hold reality together. I just never tried to influence them on a large scale because I thought it was impossible. Alex looked skeptical but hopeful. What would you need to attempt something like this? Maya pointed to a collection of quantum field amplifiers that had been salvaged from various laboratories. Those machines were designed to study quantum fields, but I think I can modify them to amplify my consciousness instead of just observing quantum states. For the next 18 hours, Maya worked without stopping. She redesigned the quantum amplifiers to create a feedback loop with her brainwaves. The modified equipment would allow her consciousness to extend far beyond the normal limits of human perception. Ben Carter arrived at the facility while Maya was working. The military had evacuated him along with several other scientists from the Nevada Institute. When he saw what Maya was building, his face went pale. Maya, this is incredibly dangerous, Ben said. You're talking about forcing your consciousness to operate on a scale that no human mind was designed to handle. The mental strain could kill you. Maya paused in her work and looked at her old friend. Ben, the aliens are killing millions of people every hour. If I don't try this, everyone on Earth will be dead within a week anyway. Ben helped Maya finish the modifications to the equipment. As they worked, reports continued to come in from around the world. The alien ground forces had taken control of most major cities. Human military resistance had been completely crushed. Governments were collapsing as their leaders were killed or forced to flee. Captain Kevin Price, the military officer assigned to protect the facility, briefed Maya on the latest intelligence. Dr. Turner, we estimate that the aliens have over 50,000 ships in Earth's atmosphere and surrounding space. Their commander, Zeth Kar, has been personally leading attacks on our most important military installations. Maya nodded grimly. How much time do I have before they find this facility? Captain Price checked his watch. Our scouts report alien ground forces moving through the mountains about 50 miles from here. Based on their current speed, they'll reach us in approximately 6 hours. Maya felt her heart racing. 6 hours to prepare for the most important moment in human history. She looked at the modified quantum amplifiers surrounding her workstation. The machines hummed with electrical energy, waiting to channel her consciousness across impossible distances. Alex, I need you to monitor my vital signs during the attempt, Maya said. If my brain activity goes beyond safe levels, you'll have to pull me out of the quantum field interface. Alex shook his head. Maya, I'm not going to let you die attempting this. If I don't attempt this, we're all going to die anyway, Maya replied. Alex, I've spent my entire career studying the connection between consciousness and reality. Either my theory is correct and I can save humanity, or I'm wrong and humanity is doomed regardless. Maya began preparing herself mentally for the attempt. She sat in a meditation position, surrounded by the quantum amplifiers, and started the deep breathing exercises she had practiced for years. As her mind entered the focused state she needed, Maya could feel the quantum fields around her responding to her consciousness. For the first time in her life, Maya wasn't trying to study quantum fields. She was preparing to become one with them. In 6 hours, she would either save the world or die trying. Outside the facility, alien ships continued their systematic destruction of human civilization. But deep underground, one human woman was getting ready to show the universe that consciousness itself could be the most powerful force in existence. Maya sat in the center of the modified quantum amplifiers as the final hour approached. The machines formed a perfect circle around her, their displays showing energy patterns that danced like electronic fireflies. She had connected sensor cables to her head, and Alex monitored her brain activity from a control station nearby. Captain Price received regular updates from the scouts outside. The alien ground forces were now only 20 miles away and moving fast. Their advanced vehicles cut through the mountain terrain like it was flat ground. The aliens had somehow detected the underground facility and were heading straight for it. Dr. Turner, we have maybe 90 minutes before they breach the facility, Captain Price said. Our defensive systems won't slow them down for long. Maya nodded but didn't open her eyes. She had been meditating for 2 hours, preparing her consciousness for the impossible task ahead. Her breathing was slow and controlled. Her heart rate had dropped to levels that would normally indicate deep sleep, but her mind was more alert than it had ever been. Ben Carter checked the quantum field readings one last time. Maya, the amplifiers are operating at maximum power. The quantum field density around you is unlike anything I've ever measured. Maya could feel the quantum field surrounding her like a warm ocean of pure energy. Every atom in her body was vibrating in harmony with the fundamental forces of reality. She had never experienced anything like this level of consciousness expansion. Alex, I'm going to begin the final phase, Maya said softly. Whatever happens, don't interrupt the process unless my vital signs show that I'm dying. Alex looked at the monitors showing Maya's brain activity. The patterns were already far beyond normal human levels. Maya, your neural activity is off the charts. I've never seen anything like this. Maya smiled slightly. That's because no human has ever tried to do what I'm about to do. She began expanding her consciousness outward from the facility. First, she sensed the quantum signatures of the rocks and metal surrounding them. Then her awareness stretched beyond the mountain, touching the quantum fields of the forest and valleys below. Maya could feel the alien vehicles approaching. Their technology created distinct quantum patterns that were unlike anything found in nature. The alien ships hovering in Earth's atmosphere appeared in her consciousness like bright stars against the darkness of space. I can see them, Maya whispered. I can see every alien ship within 1,000 miles. Ben stared at the quantum field readings in amazement. Maya, you're interacting with quantum fields across impossible distances. According to these readings, your consciousness has expanded beyond anything science thought was possible. Maya pushed her awareness further. She could sense alien ships above major cities around the world. Each vessel maintained complex quantum field patterns that kept their weapons and shields operational. The scale of the alien fleet was staggering. Tens of thousands of ships spread across Earth's atmosphere and the surrounding space. But Maya also sensed something else. The alien technology, for all its advancement, had a critical weakness. Every ship, weapon, and shield was connected through a quantum network that allowed them to coordinate their attacks. The same network that made them so effective also made them vulnerable. "Alex, I found it," Maya said, her voice now distant and strange. "The aliens use quantum entanglement to link all their ships together. If I can disrupt the quantum states that maintain their network, their entire fleet will lose power simultaneously." Alex checked Maya's vital signs with growing concern. Her brain was operating at levels that should have been impossible for human physiology. "Maya, your neural activity is approaching dangerous levels. I don't think your mind can handle much more expansion." Maya felt the strain too. Her consciousness was stretched across vast distances, touching quantum fields that no human mind was designed to perceive. The mental effort was like trying to hold 1,000 conversations at once while solving complex mathematical equations. But she also felt something incredible happening. Her years of meditation and consciousness training had prepared her for this moment. Her mind was adapting to the expanded awareness, learning to process quantum information on a cosmic scale. Outside the facility, alien soldiers had reached the outer defenses. Captain Price coordinated the human resistance, but their weapons were useless against the alien armor. The defensive positions were falling one by one as the aliens methodically eliminated every human they encountered. "Dr. Turner, they've breached the main entrance," Captain Price reported. "You have maybe 20 minutes before they reach this level." Maya heard the captain's words, but they seemed to come from very far away. Her consciousness was now spread across the entire solar system, touching every alien ship in Earth's vicinity. She could see the quantum patterns that powered their weapons, the field generators that maintained their shields, and the navigation systems that kept them in formation. Commander Zethkar was aboard the largest ship, directly above the facility. Maya could sense his presence like a cold shadow in the quantum field. The alien commander had somehow detected that something unusual was happening and was personally leading the assault on the underground base. "Target acquired," Maya said, her voice now barely human. "Beginning quantum field disruption sequence." Maya focused her expanded consciousness on the quantum entanglement network that connected all the alien ships. She could see the delicate balance of forces that kept their technology operational. Each ship was like a note in a vast symphony, and Maya was preparing to conduct a different song entirely. The effort required was beyond anything she had ever imagined. Maya felt like she was trying to lift mountains with her mind while simultaneously solving quantum equations that would challenge the greatest supercomputers. Her consciousness became a bridge between the physical and quantum realms, touching forces that existed beyond normal space and time. Ben watched the quantum field readings spike to impossible levels. "Maya, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations across the entire facility. Whatever you're doing, it's affecting reality on a fundamental level." Alex saw Maya's brain activity reach levels that should have killed her instantly, but somehow her mind was adapting to process quantum information directly. She was becoming something beyond normal human consciousness. "I can see everything," Maya whispered. "Every quantum field, every particle, every force that holds the universe together. I understand now. Consciousness isn't separate from reality. It's the foundation that reality is built on." Above the ion facility, Commander Zethkar felt something that he had never experienced in centuries of conquest: fear. His instruments were detecting quantum disturbances that defied everything his civilization knew about physics. Something on Earth was manipulating forces that his people considered fundamental constants of the universe. Maya gathered her expanded consciousness like a weapon made of pure thought. She could feel the quantum threads that connected every alien ship, every weapon, every shield in the entire fleet. All she had to do was reach out and change the song they were singing. Initiating quantum cascade disruption, Maya said. This is for everyone who died defending Earth. Maya released her consciousness into the quantum network that controlled the alien fleet. In that instant, she became one with the fundamental forces of reality itself. The moment Maya's consciousness touched the alien quantum network, everything changed. Across Earth's atmosphere and in the space surrounding the planet, over 50,000 alien ships suddenly went silent. Their weapons powered down in mid-fire. Their shields collapsed like soap bubbles bursting. Their engines stopped humming, leaving the massive vessels floating helplessly in the sky. In the underground facility, Maya's body went limp as her consciousness returned from the quantum realm. The monitors showing her brain activity flatlined for terrifying seconds before slowly beginning to register normal human patterns again. Commander Zethkar stood on the bridge of his flagship as every system around him failed. The ship's lights flickered and died. The artificial gravity shut off, sending crew members floating through the command center. Emergency power kicked in, but the main weapons and propulsion systems remained completely dead. Report, Zethkar commanded his officers, though he already suspected what had happened. Sir, we're detecting total system failure across the entire fleet, his chief technical officer replied. Every ship, every weapon, every shield generator has lost power simultaneously. It's as if someone rewrote the quantum programming that controls our technology. Zethkar had conquered 17 worlds and eliminated dozens of species that the hegemony considered dangerous. He had never seen anything like this. His civilization's technology was based on principles that were supposed to be universal constants. No known force in the galaxy could disrupt quantum entanglement on such a massive scale. Above New York City, London, Tokyo, and hundreds of other locations, alien ships began falling from the sky. Their pilots activated emergency systems to prevent crashes, but without main power, the best they could do was controlled descents. The sight of falling alien ships filled humans around the world with amazement and hope. Maya remained unconscious for 3 days. Alex and Ben took turns monitoring her condition, while Captain Price coordinated with Earth's remaining military forces to secure the disabled alien vessels. The threat was over, but nobody understood exactly what Maya had done or whether she would survive the effort. When Maya finally opened her eyes, she found herself in a hospital bed in the underground facility. Alex was sitting beside her, looking exhausted but relieved. Maya, thank God you're awake, Alex said. How do you feel? Maya tried to sit up but felt dizzy. Her head was pounding, and her memories of the quantum consciousness expansion were hazy and strange. I feel like I tried to download the entire internet directly into my brain. Did it work? Are the aliens gone? Alex smiled for the first time in days. Maya, you didn't just stop the aliens. You disabled their entire fleet instantly. Every single ship lost power at exactly the same moment. We've captured thousands of alien vessels and taken their crews prisoner. Maya closed her eyes and tried to remember what had happened during her expanded consciousness state. She could recall touching quantum fields across vast distances and sensing the network that connected all the alien ships. But the actual moment of disruption was lost in a blur of impossible sensations. The alien prisoners have been asking to speak with you, Alex continued. They can't understand how a single human consciousness could affect quantum fields on such a massive scale. According to them, no other species in their experience has ever demonstrated abilities like yours. Over the following weeks, Maya slowly recovered her strength, while Earth began the process of rebuilding. The alien invasion had killed over 1 billion people and destroyed hundreds of cities, but humanity had survived. More importantly, they had learned something incredible about their own potential. Ben Carter interviewed Maya extensively about her experience during the quantum consciousness expansion. Maya, can you describe what it felt like to have your awareness spread across the entire solar system? Maya struggled to find words for the experience. It was like becoming part of the universe itself. I could feel every quantum field, every particle, every force that holds reality together. For a few moments, I wasn't just human anymore. I was consciousness itself, experiencing reality from the perspective of the fundamental forces. The implications of Maya's achievement were staggering. If one human could develop quantum consciousness abilities powerful enough to disable an entire alien fleet, what could humanity accomplish if more people learned to expand their awareness in similar ways? Maya insisted on keeping the exact details of her method classified. She feared that if other alien civilizations learned about humanity's quantum consciousness potential, they might view Earth as an even greater threat than the hegemony had. But she also began training other humans to develop similar abilities. The government provided unlimited funding for Maya's consciousness research, and she established training centers around the world. The students couldn't achieve anything close to Maya's level of quantum field manipulation, but even small abilities could have incredible applications. Dr. Williams, the former director of the Nevada Research Institute, visited Maya at her new laboratory in Washington, D.C. "Maya, I owe you an apology. We all thought your consciousness research was impossible nonsense. You've proven that human potential is far greater than we ever imagined." Maya accepted the apology gracefully, but she was more interested in the future than the past. "Dr. Williams, what happened during the invasion was just the beginning. I believe every human has the potential to develop quantum consciousness abilities. We just need to learn how to unlock them safely." The captured alien crews were studied but treated humanely, according to international law. Commander Zethkar himself was held at a secure facility where human scientists could learn about hegemony technology and culture. During one interview, Zethkar spoke about what Maya had accomplished. "In all my centuries of conquest, I have never encountered a species capable of manipulating quantum fields through consciousness alone. Your people possess abilities that our civilization considered theoretical impossibilities." "Why did the hegemony consider humanity dangerous?" the human interviewer asked. Zethkar was quiet for a long moment. "Because you adapt. Because you survive impossible odds. Because you never give up, even when facing certain death. We eliminated the other 17 species easily because they surrendered when they realized resistance was futile. Humans fight until the very end." Maya often thought about Zethkar's words as she continued her research. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their refusal to accept defeat, their willingness to explore impossible ideas, and their capacity to evolve beyond their apparent limitations. The woman who had once been dismissed as a fringe researcher working on impossible theories had opened the door to a new chapter in human development. Maya Turner had proven that the power of human consciousness could transcend the normal boundaries of physical reality. As she trained new students in quantum consciousness techniques, Maya often reminded them of an important lesson from the invasion. The aliens had superior technology, overwhelming numbers, and centuries of military experience. But they underestimated the most powerful force in the universe, the human mind that refuses to accept the impossible. Earth was safe, but more importantly, humanity had discovered that their greatest potential lay not in building better weapons or faster ships, but in understanding the incredible power of consciousness itself. Maya's victory had saved the world, but her real legacy would be teaching humanity to reach beyond the stars through the unlimited potential of the human mind.